All right, welcome everybody. This is the 13th annual Southwest Ohio GiveCamp. Mostly annual. We held it the last 2 years, but in a slightly different format. So, before I go to that, we used to always go through year by year, like wedding dance sort of thing. How many people have been here? Now 13 years, that's going to take too long. So how many people, show of hands, this is their first GiveCamp? All right. How many people have been here at least 5 GiveCamps? How many people have been here 10 GiveCamps? How many people have been here all 13 GiveCamps? I know the answer to this question. All right, I'll get 12. Mike and Matt and I got 13.
Ellen should be raising her hand.
No, she said 10. I talked to her 11.
Oh, okay.
So I won't, this is only my 11th.
All right. Still, only early.
Well, it's compared to 13.
So Southwest Ohio GiveCamp, we've done this annually for, like I said, 13 years now. I'm Eric Schwartz. Jason Roby is standing over there. Matt Brewer is next to him. Mike Theron's over here behind the camera. And we'll introduce the rest of the team here in a minute. David DeLola is not in here. He was out at the registration table. Tim Lewis is at the registration table. Angie Roby was out there. She'll be running around helping with food all week. Weekend is what she usually does. Laura Bachmeyer has been helping us, but she has had some health issues, so she's not going to be here tonight. So we're a nonprofit event, but we get our nonprofit status through Pay It Forward Cincinnati is our nonprofit organization. 501c3 is how we handle all of our sponsorship donations, so that's how we get our status, so thank you to them. One of the questions we always get is, how do you guys do this every year? Sponsorship is how we do this. And many of these sponsors, I think actually all of these sponsors on this list have been with us for a long, long time. We don't really even have to go solicit sponsors most of the time because it's the same ones we've had for years and they just keep coming back and asking us, can we sponsor again this year? So it makes it a whole lot easier on us. So if you see anybody from any of these organizations, tell them thank you. And we also want to thank Miami Voice America Learning Center. We weren't here the last 2 years. We're back. We're happy to be back here. We started here at the beginning. I said this is our 13th year here. This is the 13th year for Miami University Voice America Learning Center, actually. And so that's kind of why they've been good partners with us. We were one of the first big events they had, and they appreciated us. I remember the first year we said, we want you guys to really test our Wi-Fi and network and make sure it works and those sort of things like that. So they've been good partners with us, giving us good deals on renting the facility and things like that as well. So, Mike's going to come up and go over the team's organization for tonight. We're hoping as many people can be in person as possible, but the last 2 years we've done some stuff remote. I'll go over the schedule in a little bit. It's a little different than it's been in the past, so there's still going to be communications and stuff on that. So Mike, you want to explain what we're doing?
So, has anybody not used Teams before? So, a lot of companies are using Teams nowadays. So we went and decided to use Teams. In the past we've used Slack. If you did not, or you should have received an email earlier this week with an invite to the Teams account. The nonprofits, I did not have your email, so come see me and I'll add you to our Teams account. You will see that in that QR code that was up there before, will link you to our team's team. And you'll see that in here we have a general channel. It's just for communication. You guys we get some interesting things in there. And then we created a channel for each project. So you'll find in each of these projects, you can communicate with your team in here. You'll have a whiteboard where you can draw and have fun with. And then tasks, if anybody's familiar with a Kanban board, that's what we mostly use this for. So you can go in and use these tools. You also have a place you can put files if you need to share files with other team members. You'll see that for the nonprofits, we have a private channel for the nonprofits to communicate with the team leads on, and then we also have a private channel for the team leads. And that is where we'll be communicating stand-ups and so on. There's a hidden channel. Sorry, fathers, if you're listening, I hid you. Not anymore. If you did not get that link, let me know. If you are using, there's a Teams app that you could download and put on your computer. There's a Teams app for your phone, or you can just go to the website, teams.microsoft.com, and then you would sign in with your email, probably the email address that you sent us. And if, like I said, if you did not get a link or you're having problems, just find me and I'll help you with it. Is that it?
So I guess the other thing Mike didn't go is the last item there. If you want to get a hold of us, if you use @organizers, that'll contact everybody in the organizers group, so that way most likely to get a hold of somebody. So schedule events. Registration we already accomplished. Opening ceremonies, which isn't really a ceremony, it's informal. We're here now. And the opening is mainly for the volunteers to see what the projects are and see what the nonprofits are and that sort of thing. Where when we get to the closing on Sunday, that's the other way. That's for the volunteers to show off what they've done and the nonprofits to see what else has been accomplished and that sort of thing. After we go through the opening part here, we'll have team selection, which we'll go over how we do that in a little bit. Then we're going to do group picture right after this. Other years we've done group picture on Saturday afternoon, but since some people might be remote and stuff, we figured we'll have the most people here then, so we're going to do group picture right after this. We'll have dinner about 7 o'clock, and then we'll go down to the other end of the building and development and work will start. For those of you who've been here in the past, the schedule's a little different. We're not going to be here all night tonight. We're 11:30 is when we're going to end, so we're going to be trying to be out of the building by midnight. Building will open up at 8 tomorrow morning, and we'll have breakfast cooked by some people from Engage, pancakes and sausage and things like that. We have probably at 11 a.m. we'll have nonprofits stand up to see how they think projects are going and things like that. Lunch, and then at 4:30 the facility is going to close, and then you can work in the evening. We encourage you to work in the evening from home, but because Miami, it's harder to get security guards and staff and everything else. That's why we're altered the schedule this year. That it worked out better with them.
Eric,
yeah.
That doesn't mean you can't work all night tonight if you want to. So if you want to pull an all-nighter, go for it, because I know how much fun that is.
Right.
And how we miss it.
So then Sunday morning we'll open up at 8 a.m. again. Have continental breakfast from Panera. We'll probably have another nonprofit stand up around 11 Sunday morning just to make sure where things are at. Everything is, that's about the last chance we get to make any we can't really alter course, but make some corrections, make sure things didn't get done at that point in time. Lunch is going to be at noon, and then 3 o'clock Sunday we'll do closing back in here, which will show off the projects and show off what's been done. Some of the rules: Miami is a Voice of America Learning Center. All of Miami University campuses actually are tobacco-free campuses, and that means campus, not the building, grounds and everything. Building access will be limited at night. We're worked out because the guard is going to leave around 8 o'clock. We think we have everything worked out with the doors. If there's some reason you cannot get in, we'll have a sign on the door with a phone number to call, so you can call and someone will come let you in. The front doors are going to be the main doors to use. The two side doors on each end of the building will remain locked when the guard is not here. So that way we just have one point of entry that we have to watch. And then as always, please clean up after yourselves. We have a custodian who will come in a couple times over the weekend and clean the bathrooms and things like that. But we eat in the rooms and everything else, so just pick up after your trash and that sort of thing. Some logistics. For those, most of the team leads, or like about half of them been team leads before. We do stand-ups with the team leads to see how their projects are going. The first one will be tonight at 9 o'clock. Then we say roughly every 2 hours, but usually we discuss with them, see how things are going, and the schedule changes throughout the weekend. And whether we need it more frequently or less frequently, it just gets spread out. in those team meetings, a lot of times what comes up is, I need someone that has this skill. We keep a list in there, and then, so if we run into somebody else, or there's been times we've called people we know elsewhere to try to get an answer to solve a problem quickly over that weekend for what skills we need. If you're leaving for the weekend, it's easier now because we can get a hold of you on Teams and stuff also, or not even leaving for a period of time. It's like, hey, if somebody needs this skill, let me know, I'd really like to do this. So stop in the command center, I'll show you on the map when I get towards the end before we dismiss on that. And stop in and let us those things know. Last thing, we're providing meals. We provide meals as much as everyone as possible. If you have some kind of special dietary concerns, let one of us in the blue shirts know. We'll do the best we can to accommodate you, because when we're feeding a large group of people, it's hard to figure everything out. But we try to accommodate as much as possible. So with that, we're going to do brief introductions to the project. So each nonprofit's going to come up 2 to 3 minute introduction, and the team lead can join them if they want, or they can come up afterwards, and then a minute or two of the team lead to describe what technologies they're thinking of using, what type of skills they're going to need on their team, so that way volunteers can all listen and figure out what's going on so they can help pick what teams they want to be on at the end. So, Affinity Project. Brian, you can come up too if you want.
Hello, I'm Diane Burkett. I'm founder of Affinity Project. And Affinity Project is a memorial nonprofit. So having said that, I will also add, I don't have to add it, but there's a lot of love that is behind the driving force in our mission. Affinity Project's mission, we're here to support the veterans, men and women who have been impacted with post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury, who are currently attending a residential treatment program at the VA Medical Center. It's a 7-week residential treatment program. These veterans come from across the country, so they don't have family, most of them here, majority of them, or a support system. And so what we want to provide is being that family away from home. We provide events and activities on the weekends and during free times when they're not in their intensive training or treatment program. And we are now really interacting with the veterans, able to listen to their stories, and they know our story, and they know that we're there for them. In addition, we also provide awareness to the community about post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury, and also have a strong relationship with VA employees, the community, so that everybody knows who we are, and so our presence is getting stronger and stronger in the community. I think the most important thing with the activities and the events is we also have a handwritten personal note to each veteran, and they randomly draw it, and it's something that we feel is a message for them. So ultimately, we want the veterans and their families to know that they're not alone and that we're here for them.
Yeah, so one of the things that we want to try to accomplish this weekend is to have a platform, a website, to be able to help raise awareness in the community, so we're getting more of the community involved, as well as, establishing that presence, not just for those that want to get involved, but also the veterans as well, so they have a place to go, their family has a place to go and kind of see what's going on. And it also gives us that platform to help raise funds so that we can continue to support the cause.
So I'm Brian, the project lead. So this is my first GiveCamp, so I'm learning as we go here. So I'm an Air Force vet myself, so that kind of attracted me to Affinity Project. I am an electrical engineer, not a web developer, so I can write like Python code and stuff, but when it comes to JavaScript and frameworks and stuff, we are bare metal. We've got an Azure cloud account, and that's about it right now. So if you decide to work with us, you're going to have a new project lead, a new nonprofit, and kind of the world's your oyster. And I can write some C++ code, but I don't think we're going to need that today. So that's about it. So anyway, that's our project. Yeah, we'll have a lot of fun, and hopefully, and I think the expectations will be met probably no matter what. So. Okay, great.
Next up, we have Epic House with Chris.
Hi, I'm Meredith Davis. I am here representing Epic House. I'm a volunteer board member because Epic House is super tiny. Epic stands for Elderly Persons in the Community, and it is a shared housing project in Cincinnati's West End for older adults who can't live on their own anymore but aren't really ready for a nursing home yet. So instead they get to share in this home environment in the inner city where they've lived most of their lives, most of these guys. And they get a home-like environment with home-cooked meals and someone to help them with medication, and they get to live out this part of their lives with a lot of dignity. Many of the residents at Epic House have experienced homelessness in the past, so having a home is really meaningful for them. Epic House has a website, but it's something that hasn't been maintained over the year. Since I joined the board about a year and a half ago, it took me this long to get a password to the website to try and do some updating. So I'm really thankful for this opportunity to redesign it in a way that will help us to attract donors and attract other people as volunteers, and really lucky to be working with Chris.
Yeah, so we'll probably do an Azure hosting. The current site's a little bit hard to keep updated, and I think they're at a page limit, so they can't add new pages. We're really looking for a good designer. There's also a desire to have blogging so they can recognize donors and people volunteering and kind of use that as a way to get their message out.
Thanks, guys. Next up, from Fatherless to Fearless.
Hi everyone, Shiraz coming on down. So I started from Fatherless to Fearless back in 2016, and it started actually by Facebook, and it was really about just understanding women's stories and how they got over to the other side. When it comes to fatherlessness, there are quite a few statistics that are just startling. They're 4 times more likely to live in poverty. They are 7 times more likely to be pregnant as a teenager. They're more likely to commit crimes, more likely to go to jail, more likely to face abuse. So there's so many things that are stacked up against them. So from Fatherless to Fearless, I created it, and it actually was converted to a nonprofit in 2021. And now we are in schools, in high schools, and we actually have a curriculum called Bridge. And that curriculum is really bridging these girls from one side, which is their past, and we're trying to get them into their future. And so we confront them with questions such as, what is your life going to look like in 10 years? But we also ask them questions like, how do you feel not having a father? Because no one has ever asked them that. And so in these high schools, during the day, we are being able to engage with them and have these types of conversations where nobody else has had that privilege to do that for them. We are founded on 4 pillars. That is, mental health is always going to be our first pillar, spiritual health, which is really having self-worth and self-confidence, financial health for sure, and then also physical health, because they are also 2 times more likely to be obese. So that is from Fatherless to Fearless. We're so excited to be here. We appreciate everything that you guys are going to do this weekend.
So most of the website is going to be more of a survey engagement kind of thing. We're building it on .NET, Azure. We're going to host it on Azure. We already have a database. I have designed everything. We have mock-ups. Candace was really good about what she specifically needed, so we have very good requirements of exactly what we need to build. And I have already designed the database and have mock-ups for everything and have the technology stack. We're just going to do everything in .NET, Razor Pages. Yeah, and it should be a pretty straightforward thing to do, but really fun.
Thank you. Next up, we have, I skipped one, Live Like Maya Foundation.
I got here just in time.
We could have skipped and come back.
No, it's okay.
I know. Yeah, I saw walking. So, we're 2 or 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Collins. My nonprofit is the Live Like Maya Foundation. My daughter Maya fought cancer for 6.5 years. She was diagnosed when she was 7.5, and she passed away when she was 14. It was a long, hard, really arduous battle. And when she passed away, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do something to honor her memory, make her death mean something, because I could not find for the life of me a reason for a child to die of a horrible death of cancer. So myself and some friends and my village in Mason surrounded me with love and supported me, and we started a nonprofit. We have only been really a nonprofit since 2019, but we have doubled our donations every year. So we're growing fast. We're getting a name for ourselves, which has been great. The mission of our foundation is to support families in the area, local families who have children battling cancer financially. You know, we knew lots of people throughout our journey who lost their house, lost their car, just trying to keep their child alive. So we're trying to help those families now, and we are also supporting pediatric cancer research. We actually are going to grant our first grant of $50,000, which we're pretty excited about, this week, to a researcher who's doing some really exciting research in the field of pediatric cancer. So this year, so far, we've supported over $20,000 worth of financial assistance, and we're opening up more funds probably in the next couple weeks. So hopefully maybe more like $40,000 by the end of the year. And yeah, so we're super grateful. We're new. I'm doing everything like by hand. I'm literally copy and pasting from spreadsheets, and it's a lot. So I'm excited that you guys are going to be able to help. Super grateful, and excited for the weekend.
All right, so their primary challenge is donor management. So as Bonnie was saying, she's doing a lot of copy and pasting, things like taking data out of their PayPal account and pasting it in spreadsheets and things like that. So what we're going to do is, instead of writing some sort of CRM system from scratch, we're going to implement what's called Civi CRM, which is a long-running, it's PHP open source CRM platform. It's got plenty of tools and features to it. So the primary purpose or goal here is to get their existing data in their spreadsheets into a brand new Civi CRM instance. And hopefully, if that all goes well, we can start exploring all the other things they can provide, maybe provide them with some more abilities to do things like event scheduling and plugging in things to their current website. So yeah.
Last but not least, we have Motherless Daughters Ministry.
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen Collins. I'm the founder and executive director of Motherless Daughters Ministry. And what we do is work with women who've either lost or missed the nurturing care of a mother, and 18 and over. So we've been in existence for 22 years. So I think that's pretty profound, 22 years. The things we do courses, we do events, we do retreats, we have a blog. We have videos that we do. We have e-learning. We have lots of different things to offer these women. So it's pretty profound, because mother loss will show up when you least expect it. In fact, I could probably ask in here, everyone knows someone who is motherless. And what you have to know is mother loss does not mean mother death. You can have mother loss and have a living mother also. So somewhere along the line, the mother either didn't nurture or there was some way or another that the daughter had to take care of herself. And she probably wasn't emotionally or psychologically equipped to do that. So we have women who have lost a mother through death, and that relationship can vary, whatever it is. We have women who've experienced a double loss, because when they were younger, the mother quit nurturing the daughter, and then the daughter grows up and the mother dies, so she's lost her twice. And then you have women who have had or have narcissistic mothers, and their mothers exhibit narcissistic behaviors, and so they have mother loss too. So I can talk to you for 22 years, no, not 20. And I want to make sure and introduce the person here to my left. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
My name is Gladys Bell. I'm a volunteer board member with Motherless Daughters. I've been involved since 2005, but on the board since about 2018. And this is a unique organization. While there are many Motherless Daughters organizations, we are faith-based, and we address all of those other areas of mother loss that are not connected with death. And most of the time these women have no one to talk to because they don't feel like anybody would understand why I have a living mother and I don't have a relationship with her, or she's never allowed a relationship with me. And so there are things that we address that a lot of other people do not. At the beginning of COVID, we have a retreat every year, and we talk about our strategic planning. We talked about increasing our digital footprint, but we hadn't really done anything about it. So when COVID hit, we were forced into a very high learning curve, and that's when we introduced our YouTube channel, our podcast, and introduced a number of other things. Because grief is a lifelong journey, we looked for an outlet for people anywhere to be able to express or express their grief in some kind of way, or share that, or have their time of grief anywhere, anytime, on demand. And so our project was a little unique. We already have a website. We have a lot in place, thanks to Mary Ellen, who's done a lot of work. But this, we really didn't have technology information. We have started from scratch in everything that we've done. This was more than we could handle. We saw an example, but David latched onto that immediately, and he got our view.
Well, you need to know, wait a minute, I'll hand it to David. This is the inspiration for the project. It was her idea.
As you heard, they have a very well-established WordPress page with a lot of functionality and available information. So we're going to be adding a pretty interesting new feature, which is a memorial wall. So the base behind it is some form collection, some payment collection. All stuff is already set up. We just need to make it work and collect the data. The big part is we need some graphic designers too. We need to make this vision come to life, and we need to try to draw some things out, sketch it out, figure out a way to make it work, because we're expecting a lot of memorials and donations to be set up on this, and we want to make sure that it's very beneficial. So.
All right, so that's the 5 projects for tonight. Because we're a little smaller this year and past, we've done up to 15 or 16 projects even. So everything's going to be on this end of the building. Now, the last 2 classrooms are the 2 big classrooms. The nonprofits are all in those 2 rooms. 123, for those that have been around a long time, used to be like a board conference room that we used to always use as the command center. They turned it into a classroom. Well, we're back as a command center there, so that way everyone's all down in the same area and it's easy to find everybody. And restrooms are right across the hall. We got all the food on that end, so we can keep all the mess all in one area of the building. So before we do team selection, some lessons learned. Some of these are things we've always done. For example, we say GiveCamp's the Las Vegas rule. What happens at GiveCamp stays at GiveCamp. The volunteers are volunteering for this weekend. Many of the volunteers will choose to help the nonprofit beyond that time, but they're committing their time to help you this weekend. They're not necessarily committing their time after that. If they choose to give you their contact information and say, let me know if you need help later, that's their choice. But our part is to help you this weekend. One of the biggest things we've seen in talking to other give camps around the country, training is one of the biggest things that why projects fail and fall apart. I've talked to the nonprofits, so I met with them last week and emphasized this as well. So teams, team leads, nonprofits, everyone needs to work together to make sure the nonprofit understands how whatever product we're giving them works and how to maintain it and use it and update it over the years. So we have on the schedule, if you saw, we had Sunday AM training. That's just a placeholder. If you haven't done it yet, do it Sunday morning, but do training at some point in time. Other thing is, have it deployable early and often. I mean, we're on a very short-term time limit on where we get things done, so you never know when something's going to go crazy, so make sure if everything dies on Sunday or Saturday at noon, at least they have something. They have a website with a hello world or something that there is to go then. And then this year we're a little smaller group, not as many volunteers as otherwise, so we may not have as much of this, but we might. If there's some downtime, if you're waiting for something to come up, you can check in with some other teams in the room with you, check in with us and say, hey, if you need a designer for 2 hours or whatever sort of thing, I can do something like that. So just check in for volunteers and see where else you can help you if you have downtime. We don't want anybody to get bored this weekend, so